Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And before I get started, if you like my videos, give it a big thumbs up so I know you're enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, give it a big thumbs down so I know that either way. And if you're not already subscribed and you like knife content, think about subscribing. Let's get started. This is the Civivi Knives Odium. The Odium is a design collaboration with Ferrum Forged Knife Works, and it is based on their Archbishop model. And this is going to be a secondary blade, a backup blade. It's a smaller blade. It feels a little bigger because of this forward choil. But if you don't like small knives, this one's not for you. You might not want to watch the video. The Odium came in at $53, and there's several variations, being that it's a Civivi knife. You can get it in this all blacked out version. You can get it in a stonewash blade with either blue, black, gray, orange, or JG10. So tons of options for everybody out there. And like I said, this is a smaller knife. Let's get some specs on it. You have a full length of 6 1/4 inches, a blade length of 2.65 inches. So it's going to be legal in a lot of areas that have 3 and under laws, and you can have a locking knife. You have a grip area from right here in the forward choil to the back of the scale of 3 1/16 of an inch. You have a width closed in the pocket from here to here of 1.11 inch. You have a very slender thickness in the pocket of 0.43 inches. You have a decent sized blade stock of 0.11 inches. And your thickness behind the edge ranges from 18, from about here to here, to about 20 thousandths. So decent little cutter. But let's take a closer look at this. You have a nice drop point blade with a black wash, stone washed finish on there. Completely sterile on this side. Flip it over, you have the Ferrum Forge logo right there, and the blade steel designation, which is D2. You have a nice little chamfer up here on the spine, so you don't have any sharp areas where you don't want it. You have a nice large opening hole in the blade that works very well. You have a nice forward finger choil that fits my finger fine. Now, it fits my finger just perfect. If you have fat sausage fingers, it might not fit your finger, but it fits my finger. I'm gonna be wary of how I'm cutting with it. They could have maybe extended it, but then you would have lost even more blade length to an already small knife. You have some fine cut jimping right there, and with the coating, it still gives you pretty good traction. I would say that moderate traction, so it definitely locks in when I push down on it, but it's not too aggressive. Close it up. You have a very minimal flipper tab, and you have jimping going all the way to the top of it right there, and you also have a bevel on both sides, so it's not sharp on the sides. You have that same type texture, except it's not as wide, but as you can see, it's nice and grippy. Definitely grabs onto that finger. I'm pretty sure the Civivi knives are riding on ceramic bearings and I think a stainless detent ball. Let's see, yeah, and a stainless detent ball. So instead of, I think I would have rather see a ceramic detent ball and stainless bearings, but that's just me. I noticed that makes a bigger difference than the bearings usually, if everything else is sound. As you can see, that opening hole is opened to where you can get to it. You can use it to flick the knife out with your thumb, use it to slow roll it, you can use it to spotty flick, and you can use it to open it like a grandpa. I'm just kidding. That's one thing I've grown to like about the longer opening holes, like on my Adam Purvis Primordial MK2. That long opening hole allows you can either get up in the front to flip it with your thumb, or You can get way back here, which makes it very easy to spotty flick it. And if there's a stronger detent, grabbing lower on the blade like that allows you to break that detent a lot easier than up here. So I like that. You know, could it be a problem if you were prying? It'd probably snap in that area. But this is a smaller knife. You shouldn't be doing those kind of tests with a knife, a folding knife anyway. That blade is recessed into the handle. You're not going to come in contact with it when it's closed. You have black G10 on this variation, and it's smooth black G10. You can see it looks like it might have had a peel ply underneath it, but it is smooth to touch. It actually feels nice, and you get a little bit of grip. You know, it's not slick like polished G10. You have, looks like you have a little bit of contour. You have a little bit of contoured scales on there. They're thin scales, and the scales have been shadow boxed. What I mean by that is the top scale is a little smaller than the liner, so it gives you that shadow box effect, so you can see the liner going all the way around it. And it looks like the liners have been like bead blasted or something, and those are stainless liners. You have a black G10 backspacer that has a geared pattern, and it is sitting proud of the actual liner, and it has a little bit of grip on it. Nothing that I feel whenever I'm holding the knife. You have a deep carry pocket clip that sits tip up, right or left hand carry. Your body screws on this are T8. And let me check. I don't know if that pocket clip screw is a T8. Let me see. I just grabbed my closest driver. Let's see, you got T8 here. And let's see if these are T8. Now, pocket clip screws are T6, and they have been recessed in there. The screws have been countersunk, so they're not going to catch your pocket, so you'll better get the knife all the way down in the pocket. And let's see, this body screw. Nope. So the body screws are T6. Let's see something. Make sure this is right. It's so little. Is that a T9? Yeah. Body screws are T6. At least that's what it is showing on my drivers. And the pivot screw is a T8. Access to the lock bar is very nice. You can see it's sitting a little proud of the show side liner, and it has some jumps on there for some traction. I can easily get my thumb in there to disengage. That's a big plus. That's something I like to see. Your lockup is sitting around 40%. No up and down whatsoever. And I can flex a little left to right, but it's not actually wobbling in here. It's just the blade flexing the whole scale. But I'm putting a good bit of pressure on there, so not an issue. Let me get my light. The inside stainless liners, as you can see, have been heavily skeletonized. I don't think you can skeletonize them any more than that. Very nice. And the bottom also has been skeletonized. And there you go. You can see your stainless. Look, you can see your stainless detent ball. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's silver. But my lights aren't the best in here. Close her up. Let's see. Let's get a weight on it, then we'll get some size comparisons so you can really grasp how big this knife is if you own one of the knives I showed. 2.52 ounces with a 2.65 inch blade, so less than the ounce an inch. Let's see. All right. Let's see. You got the CRKT Pilar, the regular size. Pilar's smaller. You have the Benchmade Mini Bug Out, which is a little bit longer. You have Spyderco Techno 2, just a little bit shorter than the Odium. And then the Spyderco Dragonfly 2, which is smaller than the Odium. And a good size comparisons, two of its brethren. You got the Wee Knives Moat. It's another new design for them. So them two are pretty much identical in size. And then one that is not only almost identical in size, it almost is identical in the looks, and that is the Ferrum Forge branded Mini Archbishop. So there you go. And we're going to talk about these two at the end, but there's your size comparison. So hopefully that gave you a good idea on how big this knife is. And I actually got one more. Let's see, the I think this is the Lieb. So there you go, it's the smallest one I have, I think, right now. There you go, the Lieb is a little bit shorter. All right, nitpicks, complaints. I don't really have many, you know, for the price point. I think it's well priced for what you're getting, the finishing. Anybody who owns a Wii or Civivi knife, you know, the quality's there. I would have liked to see this be a hollow grind instead of a flat to kind of thin this out some more, because that's something I've never really understood, is why not maximize, you know, the thinness behind the edge with a smaller knife like this, because I know I'm not going to be able to get the force, and I'm not going to have the blade length I need to really, you know, be getting in there, you know, to do some real tough tasks to where I would be twisting the blade or something. So definitely would have liked to see, you know, how Civivi usually grinds, you know, a lot of their models nice and thin. Now, I'm not saying this one's thick or anything. 18,000s is nice, but, you know, they do a lot of them at 13 and 12,000s. I would have loved to see that, and they would have had to do that with a hollow grind. Pretty sure this is flat. Yeah, let me make sure for certain, so I'm not talking out of my bum. Let's see, this is a straight edge. Yep, as you can see, it is a flat grind. It is sitting flat on there. If you're ever wondering if something's a flat or a hollow, get a straight edge, like a ruler or something, lay it on the grind, and if you don't see any dip in the blade and it sits flat onto that blade, then it is a flat grind. Most of the time, you can just look at the grinds and the way the light's reflecting. Whenever you lean it, you can see how the light's reflecting. That usually tells you. And then up in this area too, you can usually tell the way it tapers. And right here, you can usually tell because you can see it dipping in. But something you'll start to notice, you know, if you're looking at enough of them. So besides the thinness in the grind, what is that? The flipper tab is not super comfortable. That last jump right there kind of aggravates my finger, kind of like it does on the Moat. Now, it's not terrible. And it's not that big of a deal for me because I open my knife with the hole usually when there is a blade hole. I just don't use a flipper that much unless it's super comfortable and, you know, just fun as can be to flip, and it's like super smooth. This one's, you know, the action's good on it. It has a nice detent. It rockets out. It's never going to be a drop shut knife, you know, where it just falls on its own weight because the blade's thin and it's a small blade. But other than that, my only other complaint is, and I hope this isn't going to be a pattern, because I know I'll start just waiting, you know, to see which one I like better. But in my opinion, these two knives are just way too similar. I mean, this is the Mini Archbishop. This Odium was designed after the Archbishop. This one's branded by Ferrum Forge, made by Civivi for them. This one is made by Civivi, branded by Civivi, and collaborated with Ferrum Forge. So I hope, like for instance, the Stinger that I bought, that's the only one. I hope that Civivi's not going to put their own model out you know, and the Civivi brand. It just, to me, that just detracts from, you know, getting this knife. You know, if you want to support Ferrum Forge and you want their logo on it, then go ahead, get this knife. And I understand that. That's what, you know, that's kind of why I bought this. I was supporting an American maker, and I wanted to check this out. I was thinking this may be a little bit bigger, but you know, after I thought about it, whenever I'd first seen this knife was from my buddy Ray from Everyday City Carry. He did a video on it, and then I saw some videos at Blade Show West whenever they debuted this knife. So they had teased this a while back, but this one was being dropped first, so this one probably had to go in the back burner, even though they probably had them produced. I don't know. It's just a nitpick to me. What do y'all think about it? They're not the exact same size. They're very close, but let's see how I can show you this. It's very hard to show, but the mini Archbishop is a hair longer. I need my straight edge. Let's see. The mini Archbishop is a hair longer. I want to get from tip to back right there. You have about a little over 6 1/4. From tip to back right here, you're right at 6 3/16. So not by much, and you have about the same, you know, you have the same grip area. I will say that the mini Archbishop feels a lot smaller in hand because the scales are just a little bit thinner, not by much, but these scales, for me, feel like it fills out my hand better, so I feel like I have a better grip on it. Now, which one, you know, if you had to choose which one, that's a tough one. I mean, there's not, you know, for the price, I would say go with this guy. It just makes more sense. The only other difference that I noticed, blade holes are a little bit different. This one's a little bit bigger than this one. And of course, the logo right here, the forward choils are exactly the same. The flipper tabs are pretty much the same. This one is in 9CR, so this one's in a stainless. This is 9CR, I think it's 18 MOV, which is a pretty good steel. And this one's in D2. And then the pocket clips, for me, are the biggest change. Now, I do much rather this pocket clip as far as aesthetics go. So, and the jimping's a little longer on the mini Archbishop. So, you know, it just depends. Like I said, if you wanna support Ferrum Forge, then, you know, you buy this knife, the mini Archbishop. If it doesn't matter to you and you just want one of them, or you're on a strict budget, then the Odium's a good choice. I forgot what this one cost. I think it was either $60 or $70. Somebody let me know down in the comment section. I'll try to pin your comment. So there you go. That is my video on the Civivi knives Odium. It's a knife that a lot of people had been waiting for ever since they saw them at the Blade Show West. And I like smaller knives, so I decided to pick it up too. Oh, and one more last thing I just noticed. The Odium is tip up left or right hand carry. As you can see, the mini Archbishop is right hand tip up carry on. So that might be a deal breaker. I mean, that might be a reason for lefties to get this one. I don't know. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a big thumbs down. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button. All right, guys and girls, for everybody who stayed this long, I appreciate y'all loyalty, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.